Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the April 14th board meeting of the Mechanicsburg Area School District. Just as a reminder, meetings of the Mechanicsburg Area School District Board of Directors are being recorded and live streamed for the purpose of transparency and increased public access. The live stream, along with recordings from previously held meetings, can be found on the school board's YouTube channel. At this time, I ask you to rise for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will take a moment of silent meditation. And Mr. Swick, roll call.
Yes. Mr. Bradley.
Here.
Mrs. Dang. Mr. Frangel.
Here.
Mrs. Huff. Here. Mrs. Kearns. Here. Mr. Kickline.
Here.
Dr. Lebo.
Here.
Miss Morgan.
Here.
And Mrs. Strelo.
Here.
Thank you. Moving on, endorsement of the agenda. Are there any additions or modifications to this evening's agenda?
There are no changes and it will stand as is.
Thank you. And then reading of the minutes of the regular board meeting from March 10th of 2026. Any issues or concerns or comments about the meeting minutes from the March meeting? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to item 2.01, opportunity for public comment items on the agenda. There will be two opportunities for public comment this evening. As a reminder, public comment is limited to residents and taxpayers of the school district. At this time, we have reached the first opportunity for public comment. This opportunity is reserved for comments related to items that are listed on this evening's agenda for vote. A second opportunity for public comment will occur at the end of the meeting. The second opportunity for public comment is reserved for comments on issues not listed on the agenda and not being voted upon. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per individual and requires community members to observe a reasonable decorum. If you would like to address the board, please share your name and the municipality in which you reside. Again, this is for items that we will be voting on in this evening's agenda. Seeing none, we will move on to reports and presentations. 4.01, Superintendent of School Reports, Dr. Bitts.
Yes, we've got two exciting presentations here tonight, and the first one will be from some of our friends from Upper Allen Elementary. So I'll invite Alicia Eric up, our principal there, and she'll introduce the rest of her team.
Right. Thank you for having us. So as Dr. Bitts said, my name is Alicia Eric, newest principal of Upper Allen. Thank you. And with me, we have some third grade student ambassadors who are led by some of our teachers, but also Mrs. Hadfield, who is our school counselor. And so with us, we have just some name introductions real quick. Leah, Carson, and we have Logan and Grace. They are going to steal the show later, so I'm going to start off with just a few things. And I thought first I would start with a thank you, because I feel like I won the jackpot. Is that the biggest? I don't know, Mega Millions, whatever it is. Having the opportunity to join this team at Upper Allen, I have loved the past few months. And it has been solidly rooted in getting to know everybody, learning Upper Allen and Mechanicsburg, and doing that by jumping right in, by listening, observing, taking in things around me. And so I want to spend just a few minutes hitting some of those highlights from a fresh perspective. And then, like I said, the student ambassadors are really going to steal the show tonight. But I did want to touch on some of these pictures up here. So starting in the top left corner, that is a picture of most of our staff. They really brought to life the vision we had for a Spirit Day for the 100th day of school. They really embraced it. The students too. I wish I could have more pictures of the students the way they embraced it as well. But it was really, for me, stepping in the middle of the year, one of those first moments where I really felt the staff rallying and the students rallying, and you just felt it across the entire school, which was a cool moment. And then the next one down there is a little guy who the teacher told me after this, I didn't know. I mean, he ran right up, was like, "Mrs. Sarah, can I get your picture?" "Yes, this is great." And then afterwards, the teacher shared with me that that was very out of character for him. But I had been developing a relationship, and so when he saw me walk in the room, it was, he wanted the picture taken. So that was a moment that I really stuck out to me, and was one of the first, like, oh, this is where I belong. So thank you again moments. The next one there was an April Fool's prank. So in the MDS classroom, they had mustaches, and they all wore the mustaches. And so our friend there, he really gets a kick out of playing pranks on people. And so we tried to play a prank on him. He thought it was great. He wore his mustache. Some of the other friends in the MDS classroom also wore the mustaches all day. So that was a fun moment in that classroom for April Fools. Again, building relationships and a feel of community. The guy with the polar paw, he is another student that I've been developing relationships with, just working with, going into classrooms, seeing him out of recess, just developing that relationship. He was so excited when he earned this power paw, and his teacher said he immediately asked, "Can I go show Mrs. Eric?" Unfortunately, I was out of the building at a meeting, and so the administrative assistant took this picture and sent it to me when I was in the meeting, and it just brightened, obviously, my spirit, because he was so excited to show what he's been working for. And then the picture on the bottom far right is another student in our MDS classroom. He is a student that shares the love of the Phillies, like I do. And so opening day, he saw me walking around with my Phillies cup. He lit up, and so we took an opportunity to take a picture on opening day together, just two Phillies fans ready for the season. And then the picture on the top is a picture of me in a unicorn onesie reading to a classroom. And so I got the opportunity, and I was intentional about it, but it still is an opportunity to go into every single classroom during the week of Read Across America. And I did that in the unicorn costume because it brought just another element, but it also was kind of had a personal attachment to it for me. The unicorn was a gift for me when I left teaching and went into administration. And they knew that it was always my ambition to get to the elementary level. And so she said, "Hold on to this. Someday you're going to wear this in an elementary classroom." And so it became real. And I made the point to go into every single classroom to just further the relationships. So the students see me as the principal, making those decisions, but they also see somebody who is able to just have fun, sit back, and enjoy a good book. So that's a little bit more specifically for me, but how I've been really working to build those relationships, and you can see the smiles in every single picture that are showing the fruits of those labors. I forgot I had the clicker, sorry. Oh, there we go. So the topics, I just want to run through some more highlights, my observations, what I've seen as those highlights across our grades, and then the student ambassadors are going to take over. So our teachers have made the learning come to life. And the first grade human body activity, that actually happened prior to my arrival, but I included it because the students still talk about it to this day. They get very excited. They've shared with me how you could still see the germs on their hands after they even washed them, because our teachers designed a culminating activity so that after the lesson, the human body, or the unit, they brought different people in. Some of those were parents, some were community members in the medical profession, and just created different activities across the classrooms that the students could engage in that just further deepened what they were learning in English or in CKLA. And then in second grade, this one was unique to Upper Allen. We have a teacher who had a connection, a family connection, and had some Civil War memorabilia. So after they did their unit, which the teachers were like, what, Civil War, second grade? But the kids rose to that challenge. They loved it, and they set up a little museum in our one open classroom. And so the kids were able to not necessarily interact, but look at and take in the artifacts that were there.
It's my grandnephew there.
Oh, is it? A familiar face. Nice. Oops, hold on. And the third grade, they, with a partnership through the 4-H, they hatch chicks. There we go. And so start to finish, eggs in the incubator, making sure we're rotating, is the humidity at the right spot, and then the excitement for they should be hatching soon, and then you're hearing the chirping in the halls. Every time you're walking down the third grade hall, it's full of chirping. So that is a really great experience for those third graders too. Are you ready? Okay.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Padfield. I'm the counselor at Upper Allen, and we're excited tonight to talk to you about our Student Ambassador Program. It's a program that I'm passionate about. I've been working on it for many years, kind of refining it. When I came to Upper Allen, I think it was sort of like a glorified poster making kind of club type thing. And so I'm like, okay, let's rebrand this. Let's give it a name. So we changed it to Student Ambassadors. And of course, we're empowering peers today to create leaders for tomorrow. And with that rebranding, we're kind of giving it purpose and embedding leadership. Even our youngest learners, so I have third graders with me here today, but there are first and second graders that are student ambassadors. So they show us that they have leadership qualities, and what an amazing way that we can help them develop and grow them. So myself, along with 3 teachers that co-teach this with me, we meet once a month with students, and they're here tonight. They actually helped put this program together for us to show you and teach you about our Student Ambassador Program. And a special shout out to my building and the teachers of the building, because it would not be possible if they didn't support this, because as you'll find out, the teachers have a part in this too. So to get started, what is a student ambassador? Grace is going to share that with you.
Student ambassadors are a group of students who meet monthly. Students will learn about qualities of leadership, represent their classrooms, tackle challenges both inside and outside of the classroom, and report back to their classrooms regularly.
Thanks, Grace. So next I have Logan that's going to share with us who is a student ambassador.
We are student ambassadors. We are students who are empowered to make a difference and inspired to lead. We are students that take on responsibilities, dedicate their time, communicate with others, and serve the community.
Okay, and as you see, there is an application process, and we use that for our second and third graders. At the first grade level, teachers are just on the lookout for students that they see are showing some leadership qualities, and they nominate them to become a student ambassador. And then as they move from second grade and to third grade, the students that are interested fill out an application to show that they have an interest in this. And one of the parts of the application is getting a recommendation from a family member and also a peer to try to embed that support, like who is supporting you, kind of who is your cheerleader. And then at the third grade level, they also give speeches to their classes. And then we vote on the third graders as student ambassadors. And then we come together for second and third graders. That's the makeup of our student ambassador group. So Carson is going to share with us, you heard a little bit earlier how we have monthly meetings with our student ambassadors. He's going to share a little bit about that.
We always start with a fun icebreaker activity so we get to know each other since we're in all grades. We do leadership lessons and activities, and finally we report back and share with our entire class. We do this during morning meeting to teach our class.
You'll see on the slide up here our I will statements. One of the first lessons we did as student leaders is came up with statements what do we believe as students that we're going to uphold throughout the year? So the things that you see up there are the ideas that they came up with. So I will help others. I will show integrity. I will be brave. All the students' ideas. And then, of course, once we agreed as a student ambassador, then they again took this back. They had their teacher sign off on it, and a family member also sign off on that to continue and to embed that support. And then you heard Carson talk about reporting back to the classroom. And this is where we have that teacher support. So our school does morning meetings. It's a really fun time. And then the teachers will get an email letting them know what leadership skill we talked about. And then the student ambassadors will go back to that morning meeting and they will teach the leadership skill to their classmates. So not only are they being a leader, but they're teaching the other students the leadership skills because everybody can be a leader. Next, we're going to give you a little sample of our monthly meeting. We're not going to do the icebreaker, so we're not going to push you outside of your comfort level too much. So the leadership skill we're going to practice with you tonight is put first things first.
Work first, then play. I am disciplined and organized. I spend my time on things that are most important.
This means I say no to things I know I should not do.
I set priorities, make a schedule, and follow my plan.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. The sheet in front of you will match what's up on the screen. And we did this activity as student ambassadors, and we had student ambassadors write, or draw actually, what is important to you. So Grace, when we did this activity, what did you draw about?
I drew my mom, friends, and brother.
Okay, thank you very much. Leah, what did you draw about?
I drew my family, friends, folks, and my cousins.
Okay, very good. So board members, we're going to give you a chance. We'd like for you to now draw what is important to you. Thank you for working so hard on your drawings. Next, we're going to talk about what's important and unimportant. And in our lesson, we kind of sort that out because we all have things in our life that are important and unimportant. And where are we spending our time? So I'm going to have some student ambassadors share examples. Carson's going to share what did you have in your list that was important?
Family, friends, pets, and sports.
Sound really good. People that are important to us, activities that we engage in, and even special places. Logan, can you give examples of what is unimportant?
Unimportant things are like Facebook, watching TV, not listening, and not doing the right thing.
Okay, so Logan, does that mean that you can't ever be on like YouTube or Facebook?
No, you can just balance it. What is important and what is not.
Okay, so now board members, we'd like for you to add to your list some important things in your life and some unimportant things in your life.
Please circle one important and one unimportant thing.
This one.
Does a board member want to share the circle?
For important things, I circled family, and for unimportant things, I followed your example with Facebook.
Does another board member want to share what they circled?
So I circled love and as important, and gossip as unimportant.
So it is valuable to spend time on the important things in our lives and less time on the unimportant things. So our goal for you the rest of this week, the 2 things that you circled, we just ask that you spend a little bit more time on the important things and a little less time on the unimportant things. Another big part of being a student ambassador is serving others.
An important part of being a student ambassador is serving others at school, but also in the community. At school, we serve others by teaching the leadership skills, helping with community meetings, helping with new students, and helping with announcements. We serve others in the community by collecting items to help with the food drive at Thanksgiving time, soup for the Super Bowl, and socks for the sock drive. Serving others makes student ambassadors and others feel good inside.
So student ambassadors, I have a few questions for you. Does being a leader mean you're bossy?
No, being a leader means you're a good listener.
A good leader has integrity. What does that mean?
You do the right thing when no one is even watching.
Why do you have to be brave to be a student ambassador?
Because you have to present to your class and talk in front of people.
Does being a leader mean you do everything?
No, being a leader means you give others a chance to do things and you cheer them.
Speaking of cheering on, we are so excited to celebrate our student ambassadors with the end of the year coming up. Just like the leadership skill we taught you about, work first, then play. They've worked hard all year, and we're looking forward to celebrating them with an ice cream social and certificates. And we're going to end with them sharing with you why being a student ambassador is important to them.
Being a student ambassador is important to me because I get to help out the community.
Being a student ambassador is important to me because I can help others in my classroom and serve the community. Being a student ambassador is important to me because I like presenting to my class and teaching my classmates what we learned. Being a student ambassador is important to me because I get to help students in my classroom and learn how to be kind and helpful in other ways other student ambassadors need.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And they were the rock stars. But you can obviously see why we wanted to spend most of our highlight on that program. So super proud of our student ambassadors at UA. Thank you.
Thank you.
They're very impressive.
One of the things you talked about was being brave and standing in front of us and talking in front of us was an excellent way of showing us just how brave you really are, and that you are, some people are so afraid to speak in front of people, and you guys did an excellent job. Thank you for sharing your student ambassador experience with us. We appreciate it.
I also want to say that this is not kid leadership stuff. This is like human, every age leadership stuff. And so sometimes you might even have to remind some adults about this practice, okay? Because y'all can lead up too. So thank you, I needed this.
I think we have some future school board directors
Yeah.
and leaders and community leaders, and while maybe you think what you're doing is a small thing, it's actually a really big thing, and it really helps your community and other students to feel included and that they have a sense of belonging. So thank you.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed with you guys. You spoke the words that we all should live by every day. And I love the fact that you're so willing to share it with your other friends and encourage them to be leaders too. I mean, everybody can be a leader. So you're doing a great job. And if you continue that all through school, into your adult life, you're going to be great people. And people are going to look up to you. So you're doing a wonderful job.
One of the reasons that we have students come at pretty much every board meeting is because we want to make sure that we remember what's most important to us as an organization, and that's you guys. So we're so excited that you came. We've got a little present for you for being such brave ambassadors here with us tonight, so thanks. Okay, sure.
Sure, let me get a picture.
Right here.
Great job, guys. Thank you.
Right, well, we head to the other end of the spectrum and we welcome Mr. Pahanik to share with us some exciting updates from our winter sports seasons. So, Mr. Pahanik.
Right. Always a tough act to follow. Thanks for having us again. We get to do this 3 times a year, hopefully, if we keep having success. So it's 3 of my favorite nights of the year. This and senior awards are all at the top of the list. So we have a new group that we're going to recognize for the first time ever tonight, and then also a group that has been here 4 years in a row for our seniors. So pretty neat to see both ends of the spectrum. So probably 2 or 3 years ago, Mr. Coy emailed Mr. Reedy and myself and said they had some talented bowlers in our school, and what was the process going to look like to really have a team and represent our school. So we went through some of the dotted our T's and dotted our I's and crossed our T's, how about that? And the first thing was we needed a coach, and Mr. Coy volunteered to do that for us. So come on in, guys. You can come on in, let you meet our bowling team. And he wasn't lying when he said how talented they were. They had quite the year, individually and as a team. So I'm going to let Eric here introduce the guys and maybe just give some highlights of the year. But before we get started, I'm going to have Mr. Noss, if you don't mind, would you play just a quick video of one of our bowlers here this year that got sent to me. I'm going to let Eric take over.
The video you were watching there, that was Jackson threw a perfect game during match play, during league this year. That was a big, big highlight. So I'm going to introduce the team a while to you. Up first, senior Parker Rizzer. Started off probably averaging maybe 130 this year. End of the year close to 180. Put in a ton of work on his own. A lot of these kids put in a ton of work on their own outside of our team practices. Up next is Gabe Diarca, also a senior. Again, never bowled in league before in his life. Maybe average 120. Jackson gave him a ball or two, and Gabe's up around 170. So, and amazing the work they all put in. Next is Adam Bynum. Another senior, did great this year. He was one of our leaders this year. Get the team fired up and stuff. Next, junior, Dallas Bear. He'll be back next year to lead the team. He was what I consider the best setup man in the high school. He set Jackson up many times whenever we were bowling in tournaments. And then, of course, our captain, my son, Jackson Coy, senior. Will be going to college for bowling also in the fall. And he has committed to Cumberland University down in Tennessee, Lebanon, Tennessee. Big, big bowling program down there. They're a top 10 school in the nation. So he'll have an opportunity to take his talents there. And he's going for business administration. So big highlights this year. We bowled a total of 5 different team tournaments this year, high school team tournaments sanctioned. And we were the only team in the entire state to win 2 of those tournaments outright. The snow roller tournament, we bowled against 33 other high schools in the eastern part of Pennsylvania. They come out in first. It was a long day. And then second, we were invited down to bowl in the Lancaster Lebanon tournament. against other Lancaster and Lebanon teams, and we went down there and ended up making the championship against the #1 ranked team in Eastern PA and beat them.
Wow.
It was a tremendous help that day. I had help that day also. The head coach of Central Dolphin, who we're good friends with, came down to help us coach that day too. So a lot of thanks to him also. His name is John Blessing. He really did a lot. He also helped me coach this year sometimes too with these guys. So any of you guys like to say anything?
I'll go first.
All right, Jackson.
So I've been bowling high school now about 4 years, and the first 3 years I was on a mixed team, which means it was guys from schools who didn't have a team. So East Penn, Trinity, Bishop McDevitt, those are just some of the schools. And this year I really wanted to get a team together since this was my last year. Started out with Parker and Gabe, because I just got them into bowling pretty much just to be on the team. And then Parker introduced me to Dallas, and then we got Adam for our fifth to start out the year. We started out the year really bad. Our first couple of scrimmages, we did not do well. None of us bowled well. And then with a lot of practice, like my dad said, we ended up making regionals, which was probably my highlight of the year. We went from a 750 average, our first scrimmage, to a 930 average at the end of the season, which was really impressive. Unfortunately, we didn't make states, but we still made about,
regionals, they give it to the top 36 teams in the eastern part of the PA, ranked. It was like out of 57, 58 teams, and we came in 30th. We were 30th out of the 36, so we made it. We bowled in the tournament, and I believe they take the top 6. We finished in 9th. Missed it by 25, 30 pins. They made a heck of a run. They were down near the bottom to start the day. It was it's nervous. You got 36 teams, times that by about 4 or 5 parents a kid. So they had over 500 people in that bowling alley watching people in step ladders and stuff sitting up and watching. It was something to see the talent that's in this state. From a sport that don't get a lot of recognition, unfortunately, but it is a sport. The amount of work they put in is it's amazing. Now Jackson, on the other, he did make regional singles. He bowled against 145 of the best in the Eastern PA. They only took the top 12, and would you finish third?
Yeah, third. I qualified.
He got
second.
third. He qualified second, ended up finishing in third. Lost in the semifinal by a couple pins. Almost made championship.
So I say this year is probably my favorite every year bowling, because I got to do it with my friends, and they kind of helped me grow as a bowler, because helping them taught me some things too about my game that I could improve on, and they also pushed me to become the best bowler I could be. That's it. Anyone else?
Oh, I did want to mention, there are two other members. A freshman, Jackson Hill, he's unfortunately playing baseball right now up in Chambersburg for Mechanicsburg, and they got delayed up there due to the storms. But and Matthew Mongold, also a senior, he was like one of our big cheerleaders. He was unable to make it tonight, unfortunately. So we did have 7 members, which we were really happy about. It made coaching easy. We go to a tournament, I start 5, but if somebody's struggling, I can always push somebody in, which is nice.
Any questions from the board?
Bowling's hard, guys. So good for you. I mean, I have only done it once or twice, and the first time I released and the ball hit the ceiling. I was like, this sport is not for me. But I had my grandkids this summer, and I was just, it's hard. Like, so your success is amazing. It must feel so good. So, and what a fun way to bring that close to your senior year and bring this sport to the school and get some interest generated for that. So good for you guys. It's awesome.
Now, do you have lower
JV team?
JV underclassmen? That's the term.
That's something we're going to work on here towards the end of this during the end of this year and over the summer. we definitely want to continue it. I think these guys helped. I mean, Dallas will be our captain and team leader next year. Jackson Hill has come a long way too. I think he started like at 140 and he was in the 160s by the end of the year, but he started late and stuff. But I'm looking forward to having Dallas lead the team next year, and hopefully we'll get some younger kids to come in, and Dallas can be like Jackson was, be their mentor, and help coach them and help me coach them and stuff, see what I don't see. No, it's a tremendous, these guys have been awesome this year.
I love seeing this sport right here. I mean, because sometimes it doesn't get the visibility of some other sports, right?
Yeah.
But my family was going once a week, and we know that it can be agonizing, but we can also improve. And so, just what you've done to come from like just starting what this year, last year, and then building the team and then finishing third is just an incredible accomplishment. So, I'd love to see it keep going. Is there plans for girls in this as well? Or you get, I guess you need enough, right?
We'll see. Yeah, you need at least five to go. That would be great. I know we're going to work on it. I know I have a meeting coming up. We set a meeting up to talk about it, to try to get it advertised and stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to. That'd be great to have a girls team too. I mean, girls are allowed to also bowl with the boys. It would be considered boys then.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Penn State, and my family will tell you I have a minor in bowling, because all of my gym classes, required classes, 3 were in bowling, 1 was in tennis. But
all right.
I was the highest scorer female in all the classes I had, so I really respect you guys. That's really cool.
So I'll say my first date with my husband was bowling, and he took out of his trunk of his like sports car a bowling bag, because he had his own bowling ball and bowling shoes, and I was like, okay, well, this is intense. And come to learn, his brother was like a real intense competitive bowler, and at 30 years old, still today, is like a semi-pro bowler. My brother's going with him to Reno in June for the Open Championships. My brother-in-law is also legally blind and makes a good, some good little income playing in bowling tournaments. And it's been a great lifetime sport community for him. And he's playing with the big guys. He's playing. But I know what the bowling community can do, for young men and young people, for young women. It's one of the highest growth sports in NCAA. Unfortunately, right now, there are a few opportunities, but not many. But I want to commend you for seeing an opportunity and rallying, and look what you've created. And that's for still some Upper Allen kids in here, but that's leadership. That's what it looks like at the high school level. So props to you, and congrats on a great inaugural season.
I will tell you this, in 23 years, there's been lots of times where I've been very proud of the students that are representing our district in different ways. And watching these 5 and the others that aren't here tonight at the bowling alley was right up there with any of them. The way that each of you have represented our district, and the camaraderie that you see on the lanes when they're competing is something that you don't see in any other sport. It's just awesome to see they're competing, and they're passionate about it, no doubt. But they're also rooting for one another, and they recognize that ultimately what someone does is out of their hands. All you can do is bowl the best that you can and see where everything falls. And it's just awesome representation. So I want to give you a little gift for representing us so well, and congratulations on your thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys.
Dr. Vince, may we get a photograph?
Sure.
Real quick?
Yep.
Tracy, what was your ad?
Huh?
What was your ad?
I'll go to them, they're there. Travel.
That one.
Go hard.
My grandkids were like, Kimmy, you need
1,
to be.
2, 3.
You're so bad.
Gorgeous. Thank you.
Have you ever seen?
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Have you ever seen duck pin bowling? And Kim?
Get a new one together next year.
Oh my gosh. And they're the small little ball. You duck bowl.
They're slipping.
Oh, they're cool.
Right.
Duck pin piece, they do it all the time.
We have one more group to recognize. We have our girls basketball team. We have an assistant coach because we have another coach who's also stuck in Chambersburg on a delay. So Coach Brown is here with 3 of our seniors. Our girls basketball team, second year in a row or third year in a row, you won the Keystone. Second year in a row, you won the Keystone. So how it works is there's 4 divisions in basketball, and each division winner enters what they call the Mid-Penn Championship. So there's 8 teams in each division, 32 teams in the Mid-Penn. We are considered Mid-Penn 2, so we have probably the 9th through 16th largest schools, give or take. But when you enter in this tournament, you play the winner from the Mid-Penn 1, Mid-Penn 3, and Mid-Penn 4. Mr. Noss, will you play this video? This was us in the Mid-Penn Championship game this year. So that's a video of our girls winning the Mid-Penn Championship this year for the first time in school history, which was quite the accomplishment. The group of seniors had a record over 4 years at the varsity level of 85-28. Those 85 wins are the most wins that any class has ever had in our school history. They had quite the storied career. They did make it to states this year. Who did we lose to? We lost to Pennsbury. Is that right? Yeah. In a game that they would probably say we felt like we could have won, but not. We don't need to dwell on that after such a career. But I'm gonna have Tug introduce the girls and let them say a word or two.
First of all, thanks, Seth. 3 of our young ladies are here. We have 7 seniors. We were blessed with 7 true leaders. Like Seth already said, the chemistry on the floor produces wins, and they'll talk about this. But Natalie Barbagello is going to Liberty University, and Lauren Levo is going to St. Joe's and playing soccer, and Jordan Waska is going to Hack to be a dental hygienist. So Lauren's going to give you a few words.
All right, I'm just going to speak for all of us, but we're all super proud of our accomplishments this year. We had a great season, and we would all agree that started with our chemistry, both on and off the court. We've made so many memories, our group of seniors, even the underclassmen as well. We've been so close with them, and that really helped us succeed on the court and just create great friendships that will last forever. So yeah, we're just proud of the great season we had. Good job. Thanks.
That was Lauren that scored that basket.
This program, I wouldn't say all of our programs are awesome. This program, the way they embrace the underclassmen, every year just seems that the seniors take on the freshmen and the sophomores, and it's impressive to see. That's kudos to our seniors, kudos to our coaching staff, but it is a program that does it the right way for sure. Anything for the group from the board?
The energy in the gym that night was amazing. At Cumberland Valley that night that they won the I guess the boys championship was right afterwards. So, you're at the end of the game that was already going long. So you've got the whole next game's fans in there too, packed house. It was just awesome.
It's exciting to see over the years some of you that I've known for a couple of years growing up into the program, and the leadership roles that you've taken and the job that you've done and the coaches and everything putting it together, and knowing some of the younger freshmen and sophomores saying the same thing, that there's that chemistry on that court that you just don't necessarily get in some of the other teams that they've played on, and they've really enjoyed it. So, great job. Thank you.
Thanks for being such great ambassadors. You get some take-home gifts here too.
Thank you.
You do. One, two, three. Thank you.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you so much.
Thanks, Seth.
Thanks for inviting us. Have a good night.
Thank you.
And that's the end of my report.
All right. Thank you very much. Always a good time to recognize these athletes. At this point, we'll move on to 4.02, Capital Area Intermediate Unit. Mrs. Strayhorn.
Yes, in my first meeting as a member of the CAIU board, I got to see a presentation on their roadmap to AI implementation, where they're undergoing ethical considerations, getting student input, staff input, faculty input, and I guess Pennsylvania is behind in adopting teacher guidelines, and so what they're doing as an IU is working on developing resources that are in an accessible website for districts to utilize as districts navigate AI tools and implementation and guidelines and policies for ourselves, and so that's something in the works. Once I get the presentation, it was a Canva link, and that link is no longer available to me. But once I get that presentation, I will pass it along to y'all. It was really interesting, and we had a lot of rich conversation. Everyone in the room comes from various fields and has various perspectives, and I think that that's very reflective of like where lots of industries and organizations and boardrooms are on the topic of AI. And so as one of their primary goals is to equip students to be future ready. We're talking through, how we're equipping students for post-education, post-secondary education success, and asking questions like how are the workforce and higher education, what are the good considerations our colleges and universities are working through right now. Some are embracing it, some aren't. Some are somewhere, some middle, third way. And so, yeah, that's kind of the conversation we're having as the IU develops resources for the rest of us navigating this new terrain. So, yeah.
Any questions from anyone? All right, thank you for that update. We'll move on to 4.03, the Cumberland Perry Area Career and Technical Center Report. Mr. Kickline.
Thank you. We met on March 23rd, and it was a great meeting. A couple things happened. First of all, the students that won at the farm show for their landscaping exhibit gave a presentation. It's really interesting to see how that came about, but it's just really a student-led activity. And because they won first place at the farm show, they will be representing Pennsylvania at the Big E Conference, or Eastern States Exposition. I think that's out in Missouri or somewhere kind of near the Midwest there. So they'll be representing Pennsylvania. The competition really gave them some parameters to work within, and they ended up using a lot of the different facilities at the tech center, such as welding and carpentry. So they're working with a bunch of different teams. Big news is construction is continuing. Last month we basically voted to get another company in to help manage the project. Greg LeMay, he was on the board a couple of years ago. He is leading that charge from CHA, and it immediately has had great dividends already. So he gave a presentation on where things are at. the main thing to focus on here is they are looking for ways to lower that budget and speed up the time frame by scheduling, by looking at everything, helping with communication, dealing with conflicts before they happen, that type of thing. So at the time, 50% of the slab was already completed. The roadway should be completed by now, things of that nature. They've already identified an issue with permitting with a pre-engineered building. So they are trying to work with the township to get that through so that it's done in time for opening of school. It would have pushed it out till the end of September, so about a month late. One of the highlights that they said is they took a look at the project plan and they opted to not paint the piping on the ceiling. It doesn't have to be painted. It would end up costing an extra, it was like $10,000 or $20,000 to do it, and it gets done faster. So things like that, little things add up. So we're really encouraged by that performance so far we've seen. A couple things I think I mentioned last time. They will not be able to bring middle schoolers in for summer camp, I believe, because they're going to basically be using that building already. And one of the things that they're working on the building already. One of the things they're doing now is actually moving facilities and classrooms around to begin work ahead of time. And one of the examples they gave is they moved part of the automotive department and that heavy equipment to a different location in the building just to give the contractors room to cut things. So they're really working with the contractors, trying to give them everything they need to expedite this project. One other thing that the board essentially charged the president with doing is we feel that the superintendent of record, who's somebody from the IU, we could have somebody who's a little more invested in that, in the facility. And so we were looking for other school districts to, one of the things we could do is have a superintendent from participating school district to serve in that capacity. And I know Dr. Pitts is probably looking for things to do, and there's a study. So if you are interested, please send in your application. The fresh guacamole was excellent that night as well. Lastly, they have 111 students in co-op. Some of these students are earning $35, $45 an hour, which is absolutely incredible. They have an allocation of about $381,000 worth of equipment from the PA Department of Education. That will be going to dental, auto collision, culinary, auto tech, and welding facilities. And one of those is a dental panoramic X-ray machine, which evidently they need to acquire a human skull to calibrate. That was a discussion. And they're releasing the original clerk of the works, they call it, and I think they'll be able to pay them $135,000 for that services. And that concludes my report. We are scheduled to meet, I believe, April 27th. Yeah, something like that. Which I will not be able to attend because I will be out of the country.
Any questions? If you haven't had a chance to see, that is a fairly large addition that they've put on. I've seen it a couple of times as I've been in that area for a number of different reasons. Okay. Moving on to 4.04 Wildcat Foundation report. Mrs. Huff.
I was not able to attend the meeting last Friday, but Mr. Pratt gave me some things to share. The foundation received 62 applications for its 5 scholarship awards for the MASH class of 2026. Those scholarships include the addition of a new one this year, Ronald L. Baker Scholarship, which was set up by his family in memory of Mr. Baker's impact on the baseball community in Mechanicsburg. The $1,000 award is offered to one senior each year from the baseball or softball teams at MASH. And scholarship winners will be presented at the senior award ceremony at MASH on May 21st. That's part of our giving the money away. We like that part. The Foundation Grants Committee met recently to review 36 applications for the 26-27 school year, and we'll be bringing those to this school board for approval in the near future. And lastly, back to making money again. The Foundation's annual golf outing will be held July 31st at the Carlisle Barracks Golf Course, with registrations opening later this month. And they fill up pretty fast, so if you want to golf, you should sign up soon. That's it.
So the
Thank you.
number of applicants, you said 36, is
For
that?
grants.
For grants, is that
applications.
a low number?
No, that's actually a good number.
Is it?
Yes,
It's more
that's
than
better.
less, so.
Yep.
Good. Yeah.
That's helpful.
Yeah, very good.
We started to go visit buildings, visit faculty meetings, and share with them, remind them it's out there as an opportunity. And for new staff, but just remind people. Seems that.
Very good.
Awesome. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to 4.05, PSBA legislative report. Just one thing that is making its way through the House and the Senate is a consideration from PIAA about creating boundary and non-boundary competitions. So when we get into the playoff segments, that instead of all schools being together in one collective competitive field competing against each other, the legislation is looking to create those that are considered the boundary schools, like Cumberland Valley, Mechanicsburg, Camp Hill, traditional schools, and then create a separate non-boundary playoff system for those like a Trinity, Bishop McDevitt, some of the Lancaster Catholic, some of these schools that have a wider pull as far as concerned. So it's gaining momentum slowly, and it's something that they're considering. Dr. Bitts?
Yeah, there's two on both sides, House Bill 41 and Senate Bill 1253. You might have actually seen, if you read the paper today, there was an article about it, and Mark Byers, the PIAA executive director, was in it quoted talking about the fact that the PIAA really feels like they are somewhat handcuffed, if you will, until legislation would allow PIAA to make a change. So at this point, their interpretation, and I think it's a fair one, is that the law right now would prevent them from being able to separate these playoff series. So they are petitioning pretty hard to both the House and the Senate, PA House and PA Senate, to change the law, allowing the PIAA then to make the rule which would actually separate it. So they're not asking the House and Senate to say that they have to have these separate. They're asking them to eliminate the barrier that currently exists to the PIAA being able to make it. There are some pushes right now for boards to adopt resolutions in support of this. For us as a board, traditionally, that's not something that we have really pursued. We have pretty close relationships with our House members and our senators, so we have traditionally, if the board is supportive of it, just gone to them directly and said, this is what we support and what we believe. There's also a petition for superintendents going around. That is something that I could certainly sign on my behalf, on our administration's behalf, and on your behalf, to put us on that list of people that are in support of it. But again, in terms of resolutions, that's not typically something we've entered into, but if the board is supportive of me signing the petition, I certainly can do that.
I've wanted to see this happen for a number of years. I'll just give one quick example. I think it was my daughter's junior year. I think we lost 1 or 2 games. Second round of states, lost to a private school, something like 58-14. I would challenge, one of the words used was competitive. I would use the word non-competitive. Kind of, I'm speaking in jest, but the disparity between schools that have residential boundaries and those that don't is growing wider and wider. If you just look at the champions, particularly in basketball and football each year, you'll see as many as 2/3 of those are private schools, many of them playing in lower levels because they don't have many students, but yet recruiting from a wide range. So I'm personally very much in support of that and would love to see you sign that.
So, I'm new to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Private and public both compete in PIAA.
All together, yes. Yep.
Then where I can
And it had been that way in Pennsylvania until maybe the I don't know, 70s or 80s, early 80s, 70s. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh had private leagues and playoffs, but then I'd say late 70s or 80s that switched to where it was opened up.
Any other questions? Comment?
I agree.
Thank you. We'll move on to 4.06, Finance and Facilities Committee report. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to report that Tuesday, on March 24th, the committee met at 6:40, and there were 4 items on the agenda, one being the capital area intermediate unit operating budget, and the committee endorsed to move forward with that. The second item was refurbishing the track at the middle school. So the committee endorsed that too, and these items will all be on the agenda tonight to approve by the board. But the third one was the bid results for Broad Street's kitchen sewer line project in the amount of about $116,000, and well, there's two parts of it, and the total cost is going to be about $150,000, and that's up for approval tonight. And the second one is a rooftop replacement at Upper Allen, and the bids came in for that, and the amount came in $563,107, and that's going to be approved tonight too. So that'll be on the agenda for approval. And we adjourned at 6:59.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Moving on to 4.07, Board President's Report. I'd like to announce that there was an executive session held this evening at 6:30 to discuss student matters. Also at this time, there was a Mechanicsburg Borough Mayor's Summit that a couple of our board members attended. Dr. Lebo.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Frangel and Mrs. Dang and myself were invited as board members who are elected by the Mechanicsburg Borough to be part of a Mayor's Summit that had 20 to 21 representatives from community service organizations, borough council, school board, Downtown Mechanical Partnership, Chamber of Commerce, really with the goal of meeting together to brainstorm and collaborate about ways we can partner together. And I was really pleased with the discussion that took place that night, very grateful for Mr. Frangel and Mrs. Dang's attendance. And a number of the issues, we talked about some infrastructure issues, which are always going to come up when we talk about a borough. But I was particularly excited about some of the conversations around addressing diversity, food insecurity, early reading, because they're things that we're focused on as a district, and I think it's really significant that things that we're trying to work at within the district, I think there's energy to see that happen outside of the school district as well, and just excited about seeing what kind of comes out of some of those partnerships and collaboration.
I was going to say, my main takeaway is that I remember there being in one of the schools, or maybe more than one school, a multicultural celebration involving parents and bringing parents into the community and into the school. And we were thinking a great opportunity might be to transport that from these walls to maybe Community Day on August 1st, and having kind of students and parents go and represent the school in international communities, and liven up maybe Community Day as an opportunity. Yeah. So that's one thing that was discussed.
Okay. Great. Any questions? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lebo. All right, we'll move on to 5.01, which is the approval of the fall athletic appointments. Dr. Lebo.
Ask the board to approve the fall athletic appointments for the 2026 and 2027 school year.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Just real quickly, I just want to commend the athletic department and the school administration for getting us those early. I remember several years ago we used to kind of approve those in the midst of the season, and the requests were made to have those to us early, and I think that's really been a good process for us. So thanks to Seth and others.
Okay. Mr. Swear.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6, new business, budget and finance. 6.01, treasurer's report. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the treasurer's report as per the attachments, which include the following. Number 1 is the treasurer's report for March 2026. Number 2 is the board budget report for March 2026. Number 3 is the general fund invoices paid March 11th through April 13th, and check numbers 73010 through 73194 in the amount of $1,535,721.93. Number 4 is the electronic payments in the amount of $8,878,065.17. Number 5 is the general fund invoices payable, check number 73195 through 73214 in the amount of $544,687.11. Number 6 is the capital reserve fund invoices paid, check number 1986 through 1988 in the amount of $21,229.08. Number 7 is the series of 2024 construction fund invoices paid, check number 250 through 251 in the amount of $39,965.12. And lastly, number 8, quarterly SAF and TF balance reports covering July 2025 through March 2026.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I do have a question. What is the SAF and TF balancing reports?
Yeah, that's a good one. I probably should have spelled that out. I apologize. It's the Student Activity Fund and Trust Fund, and so we, for some of our newer directors, we look at that quarterly. They're kind of fiduciary funds that we hold on behalf of different student groups or possibly scholarships, clubs activities, PTO, that type of thing, etc.
Thank you, Mr. Longmore.
Yes.
Any other questions? Mr. Sparker.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Moving on to 6.02, adoption of the proposed final general fund budget for the 2026-2027 school year. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the 2026 through 2027 proposed final general fund budget, making it available for public inspection as presented in the attachment.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Just like to commend the administration for putting together this very detailed budget, and obviously he's spending a lot of time explaining it to the board.
Very true. Thank you. Sure.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. 6.03, approval of the capital area intermediate unit operating budget for 2026-2027. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the capital area intermediate unit operating budget for 2026 through 2027 as presented in the attachment.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none?
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Moving on to item 7, new business curriculum, approval of the K-12 guidance plan. Mrs. Huff.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the K-12 guidance plan as presented in the attachment.
We have a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none?
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Moving on to number 8, new business facilities. 8.01, approval of the bid results for the Broad Street Kitchen Sewer Line Project. And that is Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the proposed contract awards for the Broad Street Kitchen Sewer Line Project as presented for $149,900.
And a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none?
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Moving on, 8.02, approval of the MMS track refurbishment. Ms. Morgan?
I'd like to ask the board to award the proposed contract to McMoore Construction LLC for the refurbishment of the middle school track as presented for $22,382.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I would just like to say that the track program, the track club that my kids were involved in was always an excellent program. Lots of kids getting involved, experiencing community and athletics, and so this is just the next step with the middle school track program, which is very exciting. So, thanks for putting this together. It's exciting.
Okay. Thank you. Any other? All right, thank you.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Moving on, 8.03, approval of the bid results for the Upper Allen RTU replacement. Ms. Morgan?
I'd like to ask the board to approve the proposed contract awards for the Upper Allen RTU replacement project as presented for $754,107.
We have a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none? Swear.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Moving on to item 9, new business, personnel. 9.01, personnel report. Dr. Lebo.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the personnel report as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I'd just like to express appreciation to Tiffany Lady for leading the Pre-K Counts program for quite some time. It's important what we do with our little ones, and she certainly has been a great advocate for them.
So, agreed.
Agree.
Anyone else? Okay, swear.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. 9.02, approval of the athletic training contract. Dr. Lebo.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the 2-year contract with Penn State Health for 2 contracted athletic trainers.
We have a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I had a conversation recently with our outgoing athletic trainer, Sandy Zettelmoyer, and just was talking with him about this, and he said that some districts have gone completely to contracting out all the trainers, and he's really glad that our current plan is to have a trainer that's employed by the district overseeing and kind of just providing that continuity for students. So as he said that, Sandy, I feel like has a great handle on what's happening in that arena, so I really have a lot of trust in what he says, and so just appreciate that we're heading in that direction.
Great. I agree. A lot of the students look to Sandy for, or Dr. Zettelmoyer, for some of that things that they would not necessarily get, some of the extra attention, things like that, and they've been very appreciative of that. So I agree that it's nice to have someone that is a steady, constant, and you can bring other resources in to assist as need be. All right. Any other comments? All right.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item 10, new business policy 10.01, second reading of revised board policy 718, service animals in school. Mr. Frangel.
I ask the board to approve the second and final reading of revised board policy 718 regarding service animals in schools.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. And item 10.02, student expulsion. Mr. Frangel.
I ask the board to adopt the recommended actions from a committee of the Board of School Directors and to adopt the adjudication before the Board of Directors and the terms and conditions set forth therein. Direct the superintendent to take action on the related adjudication and to authorize the superintendent to act on behalf of the board in implementing the adjudication and order the expulsion of the following students. Student H of 2025-2026, with the terms and conditions set forth in the recommended actions of the adjudication.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I would just like to thank the administration once again. These are always very difficult decisions to make, and the administration always looks out for the students' best interests, making sure that they get the education they need as well as the safety of the school community. So, just credit.
Any other comments?
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Moving on to item 12, hearing of visitors. We have reached the second opportunity for public comment. This opportunity is reserved for comments on issues not listed on the agenda and not being voted upon this evening. As a reminder, public comment is limited to residents and taxpayers of the school district. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per individual and requires community members to observe a reasonable decorum. If you would like to address the board, please share your name and municipality in which you reside.
I promise I timed myself. I'm sorry if I go a little bit over. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kim Shank. I live in Upper Allen Township. I'm an educator and a professional development facilitator and parent of 2 future Wildcats, one of whom is entering kindergarten next school year. And tonight I'm here to talk about science and what it tells us is happening to our children's ability to learn. Because ultimately the goal of school is learning, and that needs to remain our focus. Researcher Jared Cooney-Horvath, who recently testified before Congress in March, synthesized the results of over 21,000 individual studies on educational technology. The verdict is clear. Ed tech is not working. Over half of Americans' children now use a computer at school for 1 to 4 hours each day, and a full quarter spend more than 4 hours on screens during a typical 7-hour school day. Unfortunately, studies suggest that less than half of this time is actually spent learning, with students off task for up to 38 minutes of every hour when on a classroom device. Students who use computers more than 6 hours daily score the equivalent of 2 full letter grades lower than their peers. Our children are less cognitively capable than we were at their age, and the research points directly at screen-saturated classrooms as a contributing cause. So here's what the neuroscience tells us. The brain learns through sustained attention, struggle, and deep processing. It encodes memory more powerfully through handwriting rather than typing. It builds understanding through human relationship and guided instruction, not passive scrolling. And once we allow attention to fragment, it's extraordinarily difficult to rebuild. So the features engineered into these digital platforms, flashing visuals, instantaneous rewards, rapid fire content, are actually neurologically incompatible with deep learning. So tonight I'd ask the board to consider taking 3 concrete steps. First, audit every digital platform we use against independent research and not vendor-supplied data. Second, restore paper-based learning and screen-free instructional time in our classrooms K-12. And third, invest in teacher-centered professional development and not platform training. These aren't radical ideas, they're grounded in evidence. And Horvath's book, The Digital Delusion, which I brought a copy of for you, Dr. Bitts, gives educators, administrators, and parents the language, confidence, and data to advocate for children in an increasingly digital world. I would like to formally invite the board and our district's instructional leaders to read it. And furthermore, I would welcome the opportunity to actually organize a district-wide book study open to teachers, administrators, and parents as we grapple with these urgent questions that the book raises. The science is not ambiguous, and our children are counting on us to act on it. Thank you. I also included, and you can find his written testimony from March online. I printed out a copy of that as well. I cannot tell you how gripping this book was. It has opened my eyes to a lot of things and just good reading. Let me know if you'd like to schedule something.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I would just like to personally commend the speaker for bringing educational issues to our attention. I think it's very important for the community to do so. Thank you.
And also just a personal anecdote related to that. School social worker, and I was in a classroom, and the content was social emotional learning. And I was like, oh, perfect, I'm gonna go in, this was 9 to 12. I'm gonna go in and like engage in some conversations, and they were all on their laptops with their headphones on. And I was like, oh, no, we don't learn social emotional learning on the computer. So yes, your point is well taken and very well presented. So thank you.
And I was in ELA classroom, one-to-one devices during COVID, so I lived it, I breathed it.
So you know, right?
Anyone else? Any other comments? All right. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to adjourn.
Second. All right, thank you. Have a good evening.